Okay, we're in 10B 3.8, barbershop ownership. So before you can start to actually go to open up your own shop, you need to do a self-appraisal of yourself. Right? You want to know if you can recognize trends, communicate skills, accept suggestions, have self-control, manage finances, have an advertising plan, and organize your business plan. Okay, so these are the things that you're going to want to do. Now, you're also going to have to look at how you're going to manage this with a bookkeeper, a accountant, income expenses, pricing. You have to come up with a price menu, and then organize plans like short-term and long-term goals, market potential, market strategy, your buying, people's wants, needs, financial projection, and an exit plan in case it doesn't work. How are you going to get out of there? Okay, so you're going to have to think of yourself in finances. Now, assets, liabilities, and net worth. I can tell you right now that assets and liabilities on a test, those questions always get missed, always, like the definitions of them. Okay, so assets are what you own. Everything that you own free and clear of the bank or a loan that you've taken out for it is an asset. A liability is what you owe. So you take your assets, you minus your liabilities, and you get what you're worth. So what are you worth right now? That's the question everyone should be asking. What are you worth? Mine's in the minus. Okay, so once you figure all that out, then you're going to want to know what type of barbershop that you want to own. So you have a sole proprietorship, you have a partnership, a corporation, and a franchise. So a sole proprietorship owned by one person and only one person. This one is in complete control of everything, receives all the money, receives all the profits, has to pay all the bills, assumes all of the responsibility. You're it. Okay, that's a sole proprietorship. If you have a partnership, it's owned by two or more persons. Okay, so everything should be shared with the partners as agreed upon. So partnerships can be between persons with different management or barbering skills. One might be an excellent barber while the other one is a good business person. And you don't have to be a barber or have a license to own a shop. So the whole idea of this is to build upon each other's strengths and help the other person through their weaknesses. You should have a legally written contract, and you should have some specifications on what each person's responsibilities are. But know that verbal agreements lead to misunderstandings, so everything should be in writing. And if one partner, you're just as responsible as your partner. So if your partner does something, it reflects on you. So you want to make sure that, if you're in a partnership, that you're in the partnership with the right person. A corporation is a legal entity separate from shareholders formed under legal guidelines. Okay, so the company is actually owned by shareholders. The shareholders elect boards of directors who appoint offices or who appoint officers, and you can call it an S corporation or a limited liability corporation. So shareholders will receive income based on the corporation's profits. Corporations may be privately held by just a few stockholders, or they can be publicly held by large people or a lot of people. Okay, if publicly held, stock of the corporation is owned by many people and is available for sale on one or more of the stock exchanges. As a general rule, stockholders are not liable for the corporation's debts or losses as long as the corporation is operated as a separate legal entity. And that's all, the law type stuff there. The law concerning liabilities or damage to persons or property as a result of a corporation's activities may be different according to where the corporation is formed and the place where it conducts business. So a lawyer and accountant should always be consulted to ensure that the corporation is properly established and conducts business in accordance to laws. So like, Target's a corporation. I don't really know if there's a lot of hair places that are corporations. I think most of them are franchises.
Supercuts
Uh,
used to be corporate.
did it? I don't know if
Yeah,
it's,
now it's franchised here in California.
yeah, I know. I was thinking like, I don't really know of any anymore. I think most of them are franchised out. There used to be a place, I worked for them for a while. It was called Glenby International. And they were around in like Macy's and Sears and Gottschalks and places like that. That really
Hair
are
Masters is corporate too.
Hair Masters, really?
Yeah, Hair Masters is owned by Regis. They
Right.
were under a Supercuts umbrella, or a Regis umbrella with Supercuts.
I know
Smart Style.
Regis used to own a lot, but I didn't think they still owned as much as they did. But I mean, I could be totally wrong because I haven't looked into it for a while. So I thought Master Cuts was owned by, oh, I guess I could be totally wrong on all that too. Okay, so with the franchise, right, it's an operating fee. You pay for them. So like with the franchise, how like AMPM, that's a franchise. You go to AMPM, that they're going to have, their little soda machines, and they're going to have, the cookies, and most AMPMs have the same products. Most McDonald's have the same products. Taco Bell's have the same products. So you have a private owner or a partnership or even a corporation, but they pay a franchise fee so that that they get all of the same stuff no matter where you go. You can go to like McDonald's in a different country and get a cheeseburger, and it's going to be McDonald's cheeseburger. So, the franchise is formed of ownership, and it's an operating agreement in which you pay a fee to a parent corporation in exchange for fixtures, promotions, advertising, education, and management techniques. The owner of the franchise agreement can be a sole proprietorship or a partnership or a corporation. So they have certain rules and regulations that they want you to follow if you're going to be carrying the name of whatever franchise it is that you decide to open. Policies, hours, procedures, employee benefits, and all of that kind of follows within the guidelines of the corporation that owns the franchising stuff there. So most shops around, there's also a lot of sole proprietorships out there, or partnerships. But you'll see more and more franchises and corporations popping up. Okay, so now if you're going, now the types of business. So now you're going to go and you're going to open up one, but you need to know what the requirements are. Most important, right? Location, location, location. Okay, then we're going to go on the market need. How many shops are in that area? I mean, look at our little area right here in this like block that we're in. How many places do hair, between where Safeway's at to where Target's at? There's a lot of shops in between there. And each one of them has a different type of clientele and different people, who work in there. So there's enough business to support it. That's for sure. Okay, the building you're going to go in, do you need to improve it? Do you need to add plumbing, heating, lighting, air conditioning, electricals, then the decor, and the ambiance, and all that has to go in with your cost of improvements. And then your compliance. What does the city say? What does the state say? So you have your city of, if you're opening in Modesto, you'll have your city of Modesto rules that they have for business. Then you have your state board of barbering and cosmetology rules that they have for business. And then the state of California even has a couple little rules that get thrown in there that you'll have to, be in compliance with. And you have to have licenses for everything and permits and all of that if you're going to be doing any improvements. So once you figure out what that's going to cost in the building, then you're going to have to talk to the right people, like an accountant or a financial advisor, an insurance agent. And you're going to need insurances. You're going to need different types of insurances too. let's see, you can have, where did it go? You can have your liability insurance and your property and premise insurance and your fire insurance and your theft insurance and insurance on your equipment. So here's kind of a rule for insurance. If you can easily afford to totally replace the item, don't insure it. The exception is when you could be held responsible for personal injury if the item malfunctions or if property for which you were responsible for causes an accident. Okay, so, oh, and you have to have workers' comp insurance too. So there's a lot of different insurances out there and you need to check into all of them because if you have employees, you have to have workers' comp. You have to have liability if somebody slips and falls. You have to have the property or premise if there's any type of like fire or, you know, something devastating to the building. You may want theft. You have to have fire. You don't have to have earthquake or flood. That's an additional thing that you can add on to insurances. You may want to have malpractice. You know, there's lots of different insurances that you can look into. So definitely check out that. A lawyer, you might want to consult with a lawyer about like the building leases, any kind of obligations for signing contracts, anything like that, you might want to consult a lawyer with. And then a sales consultant or a distributor, they pretty much know what's going on out there because, you know, they're out there, right? They might even offer financing for some equipment that you might need. Or they could tell you like, hey, this building over here is for rent. You might want to check that out. Also with continuing education, a lot of times they know a lot. The people that sell stuff like in Cosmoprof and things like that, they know a lot about what's going on out there. Okay, so how much space do you, what type of floor plan are you going to have? Okay, so you have to have some regulations there. You have to have a reception area. You have to have a restroom with hot, you know, and cold running water. You have to have a dispensary, like a lab area, like in the break room, separate from your work area. And then some people even have shampoo areas, like where sinks are, or drying areas. So these are some of the areas that you have to have, and you have to comply with all of the, oh, what's the word? Like disability. What am I trying to say? Like your building has to be fit for someone who, you know, has disabilities to come in to the shop. So like if someone is in a wheelchair or has a walker or limited mobility, you know, you can't have like high stairs. You have to be able to have a ramp or so that that person can come in. So you have to follow those types of rules and laws too. So as a general rule, you take the width and times the length, and that's going to give you the square foot of your space. So an example would be if the building is 20 feet wide and 50 feet long, that means that that building is 1,000 square feet. How much room do you need for each person? I mean, how much space does each person need when they're working, you know, around there? That's going to help you decide how the layout is going to be. You could give more space per person or less space per person, but, you know, if you have a larger space, your investment costs are going to rise. How many people are you going to be able to fit in there? And all of that great stuff. So develop a floor plan for proposed location before trying to determine any detail of the cost of equipment or interior designing. If the location cannot be arranged with an efficient floor plan, look for another location. Okay, so, I mean, how much space do you think you need? I personally like about 4 feet wide, and I like about 6 feet behind me. I guess I need 24 square feet for me because I like that area. I like to have my space. So if you have to borrow money, how much is it going to cost you to open and operate for 6 months? Are you going to have any of your own money to invest? And are you going to be able to pay everything on time to avoid default? Let's keep that credit rating up there. Okay, so once you get your loan, if you need a loan, you're going to have to get a rental agreement. It's also called a lease. Okay, sometimes, I mean, they're not going to be month to month usually. You can find them, but most of the time they want you to be locked in for like 5 years or 10 years, or, sometimes you can get them for 3, but most of them that I've seen have been like 5 years, but it's been a long time since I've seen one, so it could have changed. So you're the renter or you're the leasee. So you're going to come up with these different contracts, and this is why you probably need a lawyer to look over them. So you have 3 types of rent. You have a fixed rent. This is a set dollar amount to pay each month. So, if I say, oh, you have to pay me $800 a month to rent this building, then that's what you're getting, $800 a month. You could have a variable rent, which if I say, okay, you have to pay me $800 a month, plus I want 2% of your total income on top of that. Yeah, that's out there. It's a variable. They have those a lot. A lot of times, I know this one building that we were in once said that the variable rent was for building improvements. So the additional tax on top of the properties was for like building maintenance, things like that. It's a huge thing for shops and plumbing. Okay. You need extra water heater, electricity. Even like clogged drains and clogged sinks are very popular. I had a plumber one time tell me that next to restaurants, hair salons were one of the biggest clogged drains that they have in their business. So that would be kind of interesting. So just pay attention and know what type of rent you're going to be paying, and be able to add that into your budget. That's what a lawyer can help you with. All right, so here we have different types of insurance that we need. Okay, a malpractice. This is going to get you or an employee for negligence, or help you against loss from negligence. Okay, if the client decides to sue you, then that can help you out with your malpractice. Property or premise protects your equipment in case of a natural disaster, a fire, a theft, a burglary, or an accident. But most of the time, flood and earthquake is not included in this property or permanent premise insurances. You have product liability, protects against financial loss due to injury or damage resulting from use of a product. Now, the product themselves may have their own insurance also that will help stand behind you. So if you get a product line, find out, how much that they're going to represent their product for that. An employment for your employees, you'll have to pay that if you have employees. And workers' comp also, if you have employees, that protects them if they can at work. And that is required by law. I worked at a place that let their workman's comp lapse, and we happened to get inspected that Friday, and the inspector actually shut us down for the weekend because their papers weren't up to date. So first thing Monday morning, he had to go get his workman's comp. I don't know if he let it lapse or if it was not up to date or what. I just said it was lapsed, but we all got the weekend off. And then by Tuesday, we were back at work because he had to go get that fixed. So if you have employees, do not let that one lapse. Okay. So taxes. Yay, it's tax time right now too, huh? Everyone done their taxes? Yay. All right, so if you have employees, you're going to be required to give them a W-2 at the end of the year that shows how much taxes have been withheld. And so that they can take that to whoever's doing their taxes to get it fixed. If you have renters, they're supposed to give you a 1099 that shows you how much they've paid you during the year. Okay, so shop owner pays to the government taxes withheld from employees' income. Taxes collected on products and services, and then taxes on profits. And if you have employees, they're also going to have to fill out a W-4 form, which allows you to know how much deductions should be taken out of their taxes also. All right, so from time, you may have to figure out like what the average cost of operating a business breaks down. So if it is what all of these experts are saying, that compensation from salaries, including yourself and your employees and taxes, should be about 50% of what you bring in. Rent is 12%. Professional products are 5%. Advertising is 3%. Utilities are 2%. Insurance is 1.5%. Benefits are 1.5%. Maintenance is 2%. Legal expenses are 2%. Equipment and loan expenses are 5%. Depreciation is 3%, and then miscellaneous is 1%, which gives you a total of about 88%. So then that other 12% should just be your profit. Okay, so all payments received for services are known as income. Okay. Operating expenses, which is, when you open your door in the morning and you turn on your lights, that becomes an operating expense. The profit is income greater than the operating expense, and the loss is operating expenses greater than income. So these things, the IRS, okay, the CRA is the Canadian version of our IRS. It requires you to keep a log of your tips, which are income. Okay, so the barbershop owner is responsible for reporting employee tips, that you can get in trouble even if you station renters and they don't do their taxes like they're supposed to. The ownership, if they ever get in trouble for it, the owner could actually get in trouble too, which is weird, but it's how the way it works. So record keeping is required by law. As of right now, we're not required to, I've never been a waitress, but I've heard that in waitressing, they have to fill out certain forms for tips. We just have to make sure that we report them. Okay, so average cost of operating a business. There's your breakdown. Okay, water, utilities, gas, phone, all of that is your breakdown of what it costs. Let's see. Here we go. So if you own a shop, you're probably going to want to have some type of philosophy, policies, and procedures there. So this is rules set by the owner. It outlines expectations of employees, informs employees about different managements. So that's always something that you could use for sure. Okay, true or false? Understanding the inner workings of barbershops creates a foundation that allows both barber and barbershop owners to meet goals together.
True.
The ability to recognize hair, skin, the abilities to recognize hair, skin, beard trends, and technical expertise is an essential skill for a successful barbershop owner.
How?
Maybe.
I would say false.
This is false.
Responsibility.
Yeah.
Not all barbers have licenses and stuff. I mean,
True.
not all owners. I mean, not barbers. Owners.
True. A list of all the physical property owned and items. Oh man, I cannot read this week. A list of all the physical property owned and items payments. Maybe it's not me. Maybe it's that. Items payments are received are for the Huh?
I think it's assets,
Okay.
physical property owned.
Yeah, and items payments. Yeah, okay. Could be, yes. A list of all the money you owe is, oh my gosh, I cannot read. A list of all the money you owe is your, that one's probably liability. A business owned by one person is referred to as a,
Sole proprietorship.
yeah. A business owned by shareholders.
Partnership.
I think that one's a corporation.
Corporation.
The most important factor in opening a barbershop business is real estate. That one's going to be a location. A set dollar amount paid each month to a lessor is known as a set dollar amount. So that one's probably going to be fixed. A fixed income. And then all payments received from clients for services or products is, I'm gonna say that's probably an income. Oh, you're right, that was assets. Sole proprietorship. Dollar amount and income. Okay. So I know that those are probably, those questions are definitely going to be on the test about that. Oh, come on, get me back over here where I need to be. So now we're going to go into like ownerships, like day-to-day things we're going to be doing. All right, so hiring, pricing, advertising, inventory control. Are you going to have a receptionist? Okay. Come on. I want to talk to you guys for a second.
Hi, y'all. I just wanted to say hi. Miss Connie will be right back.
Y'all check out my name. Check out my nail.
Did you paint your nail?
Yeah, I did. This is cool on this one.
Okay, so hiring, how are you going to hire people? Well, prior to hiring, you have to have a federal employer tax ID number. They have to complete a I-9 form. That just means that it's a form that says that they're like legal to work. Okay, proof of identity, which would be a government issued ID, and you have to have an employee file for them. Okay, so possible forms of proof would be social security card, which you have to have that number for taxes, a birth certificate, or a driver's license, something that is government issued. Okay. So now how are you going to pay this person? Are you going to pay them on a commission? Are you going to pay them on a salary or a salary plus commission? So if you hire someone on commission, it's based on the dollar income generated from client services. So if you have 10 haircuts at $20 per cut in 8 hours, you have $200, and a percentage up to 50% is normally paid. Okay. If you are working on commission, though, a lot of places, there was some stuff about commission a few years back. So just make sure that you know the law on what commission-based income is. Salary is where they get like an hourly or a guaranteed set income. And then you have a salary plus commission. So commission, you get a percentage of what you make. So salary would be, like your hourly rate. Plus, if you do above and beyond whatever your set rate is, you may get a 50% commission on top of that.
What's the going commission in Modesto?
I think it's 50%.
Really?
Yeah. It was last time I checked, but I haven't really checked on it in a while. I just know that whole thing about commission a few years back, they were saying that if you tell someone that you have to be here from 8 to 5 and I'm only going to pay you 50% commission, that you can't do that, because if you're giving them a schedule, then that makes them an employee. So that was what was said a few years back. Now, I don't really know what the whole thing became of that, because I didn't really follow it after that. But I do know that there are some laws, some areas of the law there that really need to be known if you're going to be paying someone on commission. They were also saying that if you're being paid commission, that 50% that they take from you is like for products, like that's like your payment for electricity and your payment for the products that you use and all that. So you wouldn't have to buy like your own shampoos or your own hair color or anything like that, your own gels. That's part of being applied within the commission. And then that was controversy too. Owners were saying, okay, if you're going to come work for me, you have to supply everything, and I'm just going to pay you 50% commission, and that was like, no, because if you're taking 50%, I should not have to buy supplies. Equipment, yes, but supplies, no. So, then that became a big controversy too. So like I said, the laws have changed on commission. So if you're going to be paying someone on commission, you really need to know those laws, because I'm not exactly sure what they are. I know standard commission used to be 60-40 everywhere, but then last time I checked, it was down to 50-50. So I think that's probably pretty normal right now. So, if you're getting salary plus commission, I'm going to pay you minimum wage. And if I want you to work, if you're going to be working 8 hours, I want you to do at least, if haircuts are $20, I want you to do at least like $160. Or let's say if haircuts are $10, because I can do that math, which we know they're not, but we'll just say they are. If you work 8 hours a day and I'm paying you $10 an hour, that's $80. So I want you to at least do 8 haircuts in that time. Anything over that, I'll give you the 50% commission. So once you get to like $80, then if you did $100, then you would get a $10 commission on that salary plus commission. And that's kind of like how that works. There's little areas you need to check on, because I know one time I worked at a place that was a salary plus commission, and they wanted you to make that commission every single day. So if you had one slow day and you did not make that commission day, but every other day you didn't make any commission over the top of that. So that kind of like was a bummer there. I didn't work there very long because I thought that was just sucked, because I should be able to get it for the days that I made it, but they wanted you to do it for like your whole pay period, which, yeah, there's always that slow day that you're not going to make that commission. So it seemed like they were ripping me off. So I didn't work there very long. So definitely research and know all the laws on how to pay. Okay. And then you want to come up with a price menu. Okay. So check the area that you're in. People shop all the time. People shop, they'll call and ask, how much does this cost? Or how much does that cost? Or, what is this set at? Or what is that set out? And you can't charge more. Let's say someone just wants half an inch trimmed off and someone wants like 6 inches trimmed off. You can't charge more because you're cutting more hair, right? A haircut's a haircut. You're still cutting every hair. So you have to come up with a set price. Determine these prices, check out what's going on around you and how people are pricing. Put your services and your income range into the type of clientele that you want to attract and set prices according, right? And stick to them. I've had people try to negotiate two prices. It's like, no. So you could bundle your prices together. Like you could have a haircut and a shave for like $40, where you could just do a haircut for like 25 and a shave for, 20, and then, or say shave for 15, and well, I don't know, give them like a little discount. I can't do math, but that way you can kind of figure out, like maybe make it a few dollars cheaper, right? So we all know that advertising is the best word. Word of mouth is the best advertising. You have social media. You have direct mail. Direct mail is where you get like a zip code and then you just send out postcards or something in that zip code area that you want to target. Newspapers and magazines, television and radio, billboards, bus stop benches. I've even seen advertisements on buses. Public relations efforts, fundraising events for charities, community involvement, even your own car. You can get those, little window stickers, or you can get like magnets for the doors, things like that for your car to make your car advertising for you as you drive around town. So after you get your advertising out there and your prices and all that, if you sell products, you need to have inventory control. You need to have inventory and control on what you use anyways, because how are you going to know what you're using or what you're not using? This ensures that products are accounted for. Okay. So are we selling products, right? You're responsible for this. If you're the owner, you're responsible for keeping an inventory of all the products. Now, a lot of systems now, they have the point of sales. So when you get something in, you just input it into the computer that, I got 10 gels, and each time one is sold, it will, take it out, and then you'll know you only have like 1 or 5. And, they have nice little programs that'll red flag you and give you notices like, hey, time to reorder and things like that. So it does help. There's a lot of apps out there too that help for booking, that help for bookkeeping. Some of them are even free. Okay, so make sure that you are aware of what is going in and what is going out, and how much money is being spent and how much money is being made. And if you sell products, there's the Franchise Tax Board of California that is responsible for sales tax. So you can actually get the, what is it called? A resale license, where when you purchase products, you do not pay tax on them. But then once you sell them, you have to take that tax and pay it into the Franchise Tax Board. So if you're doing a lot of sales, that could be the way to go. But you do definitely need to make sure that you pay those taxes, those sales taxes, because they'll come after you if you don't. and they come after you. Believe me. I know. Okay, so if you hire a receptionist, what are they going to do? Well, they have to schedule appointments, manage the calls, tell you about your clients that are arriving, organize and manage that reception area, and maybe in charge of the retail products, right? So do we have a receptionist? A lot of places don't just hire receptionists, which means that the stylists or the barbers or you are going to be the receptionist. If that is the case, then you need to make sure that everyone is on the same page. You know, how many times do you answer the phone? I mean, how many times does the phone ring before you answer it? Because, I mean, 3 times is considered, you know, protocol. So definitely make sure. I know people that if the phone rings 4 times on their end and you don't answer, they hang up. They don't wait for like a voicemail to come on. Now, I know that sometimes I tell my mom, gosh, your phone rang like 10 times. And she goes, oh, yeah, I only heard it twice, you know, so sometimes it doesn't always pick up. So if you're, you know, make sure, or you go hello and you hear them hang up on you because they felt like you took too long to answer. That's crazy. So just make sure that everyone is on the same page for that. What about giving change back? I mean, most people use cards and stuff, so you're going to have one of those, you know, credit card services. There's Venmo, there's Zelle. I don't even know what else is out there. Those are the 2 I use, but there's a lot of other ones out there that you can use. So you still have to keep track of all of that too. And do they charge you a percentage for using those cards? That's, if you have a receptionist, that would be part of her duty too, is taking payments. So she take those payments for you, or how are you going to take those payments for your services? So make sure that you're really aware of how each one of these companies work, how to make change back. Yeah, I was at, where was I at? Oh, down the street here. And, you know, my bill was like $19.14 or something like that. So I gave the girl, you know, $20.14, and I just thought that she would give me like $1 back. She had to pull out her calculator and figure out if that was correct, because she didn't know how to do like, oh yeah, I owe you $1 because you gave me the right amount of change, and it was like $1 difference. She totally had to pull a calculator out and count that. And I thought, wow, you know, I was bad at math. So definitely, you know, make sure that everyone's aware of how to do it. Everyone knows numbers aren't my friends, but I knew that. And I was shocked that she had to pull her calculator out to make sure that that was correct. So yeah, we want to make sure that we are all about that. So another important factor in managing your shop is just keep a close watch on everything that is, you know, overhead. Just make sure that your hair care products, your clients, your employees, you know, you're just watching and making sure that you don't have much merchandise that doesn't sell, but you're not overstocked on things either. And that could be part of the receptionist's job too. Receptionists also, they're the first person that somebody sees when they walk in. So what type of person do you want sitting there, you know, talking to the clients when they first come in? A lot of times if someone's going to complain, they're going to complain right to that receptionist too. So finding a good receptionist is sometimes difficult. Oh, telephone, 2 rings. It says 2 rings. Greet and then listen. How many times have you called someplace? I've called places before and I'm like, hi, my name is Connie, and you know, I want to make an appointment or something like that. And then they'll be like, oh, okay, what's your name? I just said my name. Like, they did not listen, obviously. So answer within 2 rings. Say your name, you know, or the barbershop name, the shop name. How can I help you? Whatever it is that they want you to say. Listen. That's a big thing. Listen. Repeat back what the client says, just like when you're going to do their hair. Repeat back what they said to you. Make sure, repeat it back like you understood it. Make sure that you understand what they're saying. Don't repeat back what they said word for word. Repeat it back the way you understood what they said. If you can't help, then, just give the phone to someone who can. If you need to take a message, we definitely want to make sure that we get their name, telephone number, date, reason for their call. If they're booking an appointment, make sure that you repeat back to them the date, the time, the service that they're requesting, and who they're requesting it with. Okay. Would you please hold? Yeah. Could you please hold on for a second? Not just wait a minute and then click on hold. When you return to the client, say, thank you for holding, don't just be like, okay, I'm back, or yep, okay, wait. It's like, I've heard people talk like that before, and I'm like, wow, they really don't know how to talk on the phone. So when you leave a message, again, date and time, name of person, phone number, exact message, repeat it back to the caller, and then give the message to the person. Okay, so if you're scheduling appointments, go back over here, not too far. Okay. No. Okay, so it is important if you're scheduling appointments for you to know, first of all, how long does it take for that particular service? Okay. If it's a first-time client and they've never been there before, you might want to give yourself a little bit of extra time for that client, just so you can do the whole consultation and make sure that you know exactly what they're going to want to have. You want to know who you're scheduling the appointment with, the client's name, the service, the date of the appointment time, and the client's or a way to contact them. But you also want to know how long it's going to take. Because if it takes you, 30 minutes for a haircut and it's a first-time client, you might want to put 40 minutes or 45 minutes down. If it's someone that you do on the regular and you know that that person only takes you 15 minutes, then, give yourself that time. But no, that way you know how to manage your time during the day, and you'll know where you can put certain clients in or certain clients not in. If you want to have a lunch or get off at a certain time, that way you'll know. Okay, true or false? A prospective employee must provide proof that they are a legal citizen.
True.
Yeah. A driver's license is a valid proof that an employee is a legal citizen.
False.
False, because now everyone's gonna have a license.
Yeah. The structure of employee compensation based on a percentage of the dollar income the individual barber creates is known as
Commission.
a compensation structure that guarantees a set income on a weekly or monthly basis is called
Salary.
salary plus commission structure gives the barber a steady paycheck while rewarding them for building I think that would be
Clientele.
well, that's what I would think, yeah. Before opening a barber shop, it would be a good idea to conduct a market
Search.
I think it's analysis they're looking for. The best form of advertising is
Word of mouth.
yeah. Oh. A barbershop procedure that ensures all products are accounted for is known as, I think that one's inventory control. A primary responsibility of the receptionist is to handle any client communication or
Bills.
complaint, I think. And a tip for answering the phone is always answer within 2 rings, I think they said. I thought it was 3, but I think they said 2. Okay, oh, both of those are true. Because not everybody has a driver's license, but I guess if everyone has one, there you go. Commission, salary, clientele. Market survey, word of mouth, inventory control, complaints, 2 rings. Okay, so there's that one. Yay. So how long is this? We got like one little thing to do here. Oh no, it's a little bit longer. For retailing and selling products. Okay, so 103B.10, you guys read that. It's just a few pages. It's not like really, really large to look at. So read that so we can get this chapter done. Yeah, and then we can have a test on this chapter. Yay. Okay.
Which one you say?
103B.10. So I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Yeah, you all coming tomorrow? Yeah. And Ruben jumped out quick. All
So
right.
tomorrow we're gonna move to another classroom, or we're gonna be at the same one?
You are going to come out. No, you're not going to be in the same one. You're going to come out here with the rest of us. I'll find out just exactly today where we're go, but you'll be out here because we're going to do shaving.
Okay.
So, yeah. All right. So I'll see you all tomorrow.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.